Can you be? Can you be my horror cutie? Can you be my? Can you be? Can you be my horror cutie?
Start to scream, we lose our minds when Like the girls I knew before. Their diamonds shine, but you're shining more. They don't make me smile the way you do. I'd run 1,000 miles just to be with you. Run up on me now, show me a sign. Show me a sign, just show me. Don't play with my heart like you play with my mind, my mind, my mind, mind. Tell me, baby, won't you tell me if you agree that this loving is true? I said, tell me, baby, won't you tell me if you can see me in your future too? Do you feel like I feel? You're not like the girls I knew before. Their diamonds shine, but you're shining more. They don't make me smile the way you do. I'd run 1,000 miles just to be with you. They don't make me smile the way you do. I'd run 1,000 miles just to be with you. Run up on me now, show me a sign.
Let's see if we can get this on audio. That's the sound of hopefully not as much troubleshooting today as yesterday. Let's see if we can get over to intermission. Hey, what's up? Okay, just my what's up, people? Do we got any regulars in the chat today? Scout Sack, where you at? Salty Sack. We got only new people in chat. Say hi. Don't be shy. This stream is gonna be a lot lower pace than last stream. Last stream I had to rush it because of I had to do something after the stream. But today we're gonna go slow and we're gonna talk through it and actually get something done. Last stream was a disaster in terms of getting stuff done. Hey, what's up, Sassy? Sassy? What's up? Welcome to the chat. Welcome to the stream. Same for Callum. What's up? What's up, Anush? Welcome to the stream. Actually missing Skelsec today. Rastamouse and Skelsec out over the weekend. That's dangerous. Those people always help me out when I get stuck, so it's just how it is. What's up? Miss JP, actually. Mr. JP in the chat. I actually looked into the Twitch terms of service, and you can drink beer on stream, but you can't get like overly intoxicated and nasty. But you can have a beer, so I brought some beers for a stream today, which is always nice. Anybody did anything fun over the weekend we should talk about? Saw anything interesting? Anything anything you want to link me? I guess be sure to join the Discord if you want to as well. So you will survive on half a beer before a lonely drunk flank shows up. Usually half a beer if I haven't eaten, I guess. Are you based in the USA? No, I am based out of Norway. My vocabulary probably already gave me away. I'm not based in the US. I do work for a US based company though, so it's a bit weird, but I'm based out of Norway. Let's see if I can drop the Discord link. If you guys are not on the Discord channel, consider joining. It's more just me being able to alert you guys when stuff is up in terms of content, and there are some interesting discussions going on, although I won't lie and tell you it's the most active Discord channel ever. It isn't, but it could be, could become. Always possibilities. Let me copy that link. Let me post that in the chat. Oh, there we go. Why don't I just do that? There we go. Discord chat. Hey, what's up, Abadi? Abadi. I think I saw you last stream as well, right? You were her last stream. I think I recall that. How's the sound? Is the music too loud? Is it too low? Hey, 245 Vase 245. Welcome, man. Audio is good. That's the way I like it. Okay, so I think we can just get into it. More people might join as we proceed, but for now, let me just switch. So, what ended up happening last time? Recap from part 1. So, part 1 was a fucking disaster. The Windows 11 VM that I downloaded from Microsoft that was stated to me as a developer image, meaning that it came preloaded with Visual Studio and dependencies, was a fucking nightmare to work with. Nothing like the dependencies were just all over the place. It took a bunch of time to install. Tried to install some at the same time and that broke it. So I just switched out to the VM. We're now back on Windows 7. I put all the dependencies in myself and made sure that SharpC2 actually compiles and things work mainly. So if you're watching this and you haven't watched part 1, not sure if you're here for the actual coding content, part 1 is necessarily the content to watch. But if you are looking for a troubleshooting guide or me getting frustrated for stuff not working live, then part 1 it might be a fun watch. Thank you so much for the follow, Arvesin. I'm suspecting a Norwegian user there. Okay, let's move over to the live scene and see if that works. Okay, so I'm going to be working with a user account because we need to use credentials in order to authenticate, in order to create this custom C2 channel that we're going to be using the cloud. I think maybe I should just recap everything. So we're using an open source C#C2 framework called SharpC2. Rastamouse is the proud developer of that C2, and it is absolutely fully C#. So both the implant, the agent on the machine is C#, the team server is written in ASP.NET, C#, as well as the web UI and the MAU application is written in C#. I can lower the music more, 100%. There we go. Put it down another 7 decibel. Let's see. Is that better? So part 2 is probably going to be at least 2 hours, I think. We'll see. We'll see how I'm hoping to make a lot of progress today. Thank you for the audio confirmation. Great input. Thank you so much. So SharpC2 fully C# based C2 framework, and it has external C2 implementation. We talked about that in part 1, but external C2 is something that Cobblestrike first introduced in their commercial C2, where we could create our own communication channels and use that, sort of wrap that around the existing functionalities. We could potentially have the full capabilities of the C2, but the network traffic communicating over whatever we want. So it could be communicating over an API, and like you could build a new communication, or you could use some. I think the best use case is like if you want to transport your communication over Slack or some other piece of technology that the client uses to blend in within the network. So it definitely has its potential. Is the music too loud still, or are we good now? Can I get a thumbs up from people? Abadi gave me the okay, but die function, are you still complaining, or is it still bad, or is it good now? I can turn up my mic as well. Good now? All good? Awesome. Thumbs up from the chat. Okay. So what we are going to be doing in this part 2 is that we're going to first set the team server up, get the basic client and handler running, and then I'm going to implement C2 communication using the Microsoft Graph API. So I'm going to make it pretty dumb because I'm not trying to I'm trying to have a nice balance between showing something, how we could use something, but also not maybe weaponize it too much so people could just straight up abuse it, even though there are probably plenty of open source examples surrounding something like this from before. But whatever the case may be, I'm going to making a very crude implementation of the Graph API in order to communicate that C2 traffic. Most likely, we're just going to write and read from a file in Graph, which is essentially OneDrive, but Graph calls it items. So before we can get any of that done, I need to get SharpC2 up and running. I've simply git cloned the repositories and resolved the dependencies issues that we had in last stream. And then I'm going to compile the team server so we can actually run it. So I'm going to move into I'm in the SharpC2 folder. I'm going to move into the team server directory, and then you can either just do .NET run, which will run that direct instance, or we can compile it into a single binary, which I have a cheat command for somewhere. Give me a second. That's just going to be .NET release and then a single executable, I believe. I guess this would be a good point to pull up the MS-Doc documentation for .NET build, or .NET, but we're not going to do that. So I think actually we could reference his Rust about SharpC2 documentation. So if you go to the documentations page, we go to building, he has a reference to what you want to run. Oh, not Linux, let's make it for Windows. So we're basically telling the compile engine that we want to publish this application in the release configuration with the target platform being Windows 64-bit, and the -- self-contained, giving basically wrapping all the dependencies into one single file. You will still need the .NET framework on the machine in order to run it, but it's one file instead of a bunch of DLLs and debug files and whatnot. So we're going to compile that. Hopefully that works out just fine. This is a lot prettier than it was last time. Last time was just a bunch of mess and horror. So moving into the team server, bin, releases, net7, win64, publish. We now see the profiles. No, it should be in publish. Okay, publish. We now see still a bunch of files, but I think this is just a part of the building process. The file executable is going to be team server. So running up the team server, I believe we need to provide it at least 2 parameters. We need to give it the IP of the machine we are running the team server on, as well as a password for the team server in order to authenticate clients. So we're going to, I think just running it is going to give us the help menu, and then the IP is going to be the IP of this virtual machine in this case. So I'm just going to pick my local IP. If you're actually setting this up for an engagement, that's going to be either your public IP, or if you want to connect to it internally, I guess a local IP, that's fine as well. But this is just to get the team server up and running. The password is going to be Rasta Rocks, because he do rock. And Windows Firewall is going to be like, hey, do you want to allow team server to open this port? I'm going to be like, yes, that's fine. Thank you so much, UAC, for that. Cool, so we now have the team server running. Then we're going to go back into the C#2 directory, and we're going to go into the client and bin and debug and net7 bin. Actually, let's pull the client from the GitHub, because that comes pre-compiled. So going to the GitHub, releases, client on Windows, pull down that zip. This is what's called I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing it correct, but MAUI application, M-A-I-U, which is a new type of sort of, I'm gonna say web UI, but in an app. It reminds me a lot of like Windows, like Microsoft Store applications. Kind of look like a web app. It's probably just a wrapped web app, but doesn't really matter. We're going to be running this install PowerShell script. Might have to run that as admin, so I'm going to be opening PowerShell as admin. Going to be opening a new PowerShell instance, bypassing script execution, which is going to be on by default for Windows machine, moving into that directory, and then just running the install PowerShell script blindly. Don't run scripts off GitHub blindly on your machine before reading the source code. This is in a VM. Rastamouse is a rather trusted source, so it's probably going to be good, but just, you know, in terms of you testing within your organization and stuff, make sure to make yourself a live environment and don't fuck around. You don't want to accidentally oh, gonna have to enable this. You don't want to accidentally deploy malware onto your own network because you're gonna test. So be sure about that. There we go. Let's see if we can now. Yes, this is running inside the VMware VM. Let's see if we see the application. It's going to be SharpC2. Nope. Okay, so the install failed then, I'm presuming. I guess we could just try to install the MSXS file. Sure. Install SharpC2. So this PowerShell, on my last deployment, on my last attempt, this PowerShell script actually installed the SharpC2 application. In this case, it seems to have just installed the certificate needed in order to install it, and then activate the developer mode. And now we're up and running. Okay, so we have SharpC2 up and running now. We can connect to our Steam server on our IP. I think localhost is going to work fine as well, because that is essentially us, but I guess that's just stick about it, Flagvik, for the username, and then the password, RastaRocks. I don't see why this would not work on Windows 11. The reason we had so many issues in part 1 was because of the dependencies that came installed on that machine, but a clean install with any installed dependencies are probably going to be fine. Why are there so many C2s when you could simply write new implants and agents instead of creating new C2s? That is a good question. A lot of so I think it's about to stabilize a bit because now we have a set of C2s in different languages that are really well written. So the team server side of SharpC2 is properly written by Rastamouse, who is a previous developer, I want to say. Okay, I'm claiming him as a developer now. Let's just say he is. And then you have Havoc, which is a C-based C2 agent, which you can also write agents for, and all the server side there looks pretty decent as well. You have a couple of options, but you are right. There's really no need to reinvent the C2 right now. I mean, if you want to have your own capabilities, you could simply write the agent, implement the communications, and like Mythic. Mythic has a really dynamic approach to this. Mythic is really cool. I feel that it's easy to deploy, but the backend is rather complex. So I feel like the effort you have to put in order to create something dynamic for it is rather high. But you know, that varies throughout projects as well. So it doesn't really matter. Mythic is a great C2 framework for sure. It has a lot of capabilities and it's super dynamic. So we are now connected to the team server, and I'm going to show off how the client and server works for the external C2. So for the external C2, I'm going to just rebuild everything, and I'm going to go into demo client, which is there, and then I'm going to go into demo controller as well. Oh, please don't crash on me. Oh, it's thinking. Not sure what happened there. Getting owned in the background. And what happens there is that you have the team server running, and then we're going to go to handlers, and we're going to open a new external C2 handler. This is what typically is referenced as listeners in other C2 frameworks. We're going to put that on port 1337 because we're lead, right? External C2. And then we're going to fire up the demo controller that's going to connect to this. and the demo client is going to connect to the controller and forward the traffic between. So this is sort of our implant side and our custom C2 traffic server side. These two files is where you implement your custom C2 channel, or these two projects, and then there's an example in the code on how it deploys the actual SharpC2 agent. We'll get into that later, but yeah, so you have to, this is where you do the magic, so to say. So you go into the demo controller, and then I think you just specify the port, so like that, and then demo client, we specify the IP as well, I believe. Yep. And then the port, so in this case, it's weird because in the demo client simply just uses a TCP socket connection or TCP raw connection to the demo controller as its custom C2, and that is hard coded to port 9999 in the demo controller. So for this, we have to give it 999. And now if we go into SharpC2, we should see a new drone popped up, and I have a drone running on my virtual machine, and we should be able to execute commands and everything should just be honky-dory. Let's see if we can actually do that. So let's do shell, and then let's just open calculator and see if that works. It works, right? So we have just a basic C2 agent deployed. So what I want to do is I want this traffic, which is now just going over raw TCP, to go through a Microsoft endpoint or the API called Graph, which is implemented by many Microsoft applications, so that in the case you were to deploy this in a client environment, the traffic itself would blend in as non-malicious. So I am a developer turned hacker, not the other way around. I did not work long as a developer, but I am a previous developer, yes. Okay, so let's see if we can actually implement this. So I have a specific way I want to do this. I think I'm going to implement something called like a... This is dark mode, yes? Or Windows dark mode. So, dark mode for the SharpC2, lol, of course. I'm sorry. If I hurt somebody's eyes, I'm so sorry. Looks way better in dark mode. So what we are going to do is that I want to implement a class. So I think this is like a shared lib for it. Yeah, so this is what he has done. He has implemented the server controller and a drone controller that is tasked with executing the payload, reading tasks, sending tasks, all that. We're going to use those, but we're going to create a new handler called message handler. It's going to have a constructor that takes any class based on an interface called message, and that is going to determine the functions needed in order to send and read data. It's going to be really simple, but that way we can actually switch out the C2 traffic later on by just giving that message handler class a new C2 communication based on the interface. So I'm going to show you how I would do this. So I guess we could I guess since both of these reference external C2.net, it makes sense to create everything here and then just have it shared. I think so. Okay, let's do this. Let's try that. So handlers, and then inside there I'm gonna create just interfaces just to separate it out, and this is just the structure I use. So let's do C2 channel. So interface, I for interface, and then public interface, and we're going to have a simple async. Oops, oh come on, don't be like this. It's a bit laggy. Async task, returning. I guess the rawest would be a byte stream. I'm gonna guess byte stream for now. Receive data. Is it like this? It's been a while. It's not this, it's just this, isn't it? Oh, the lag is gonna kill me. I think I assigned it too much RAM. Send data. And the send data is obviously gonna have to some sort of and I don't recall, what am I doing wrong? I don't recall this interface stuff. It's been a long time. Is it the ASIC? Yeah, it's the async. It's just a task. Cool, cool, cool. So now if I create a message handler or a C2 channel handler, oh, why can I not type? Hey, it's Rasta. He joined. I actually contributed, Rasta. I sent you a pull request for the documentation for installing your NuGet repo. So I'm a contributor now. Gonna make myself a sticker. SharpC2 contributor. That's me. So this is going to have a constructor, and it's going to take any constructor based on the interface. I'm using interfaces. Rasta, be proud. Channel. IC2 channel. That's going to be current C2 channel. Yep, on my resume, 100%. I'm gonna take that, apply a job at Google, Microsoft, easy win, easy. And then this is going to have public async task. I'm not sure yet, but I'm gonna guess like process message. Or should you just have send receive as well and forward that? Let's do get message async and then send message async. This is gonna come along as we move about here. But I'm just trying to create the structure right now. And then this will be like properties, C2 channel, and then this is going to be like send data basically, and then take like input. And the only reason, this might seem like dumb in terms of why you're basically creating two classes and calling the same function within each other, but if we want to switch out this C2 channel later, we could just use the same C2 channel handler, don't have to change any of that code, you could just implement a new C2 channel, which is cool. And then this is going to return get data. I don't know why I choose received. I guess this should be received as well. Receive message, input data, that's that, return disk task by empty. There we go. Cool, working code, nice. So if we want to implement this now in the demo controller, let's do demo client first. So let's remove this arguments crap. We don't need IP, we don't need port, we don't need the TCP client. Is this a TCP client controller, or have you already done what I just did? You have done a controller, okay. So this would be var, so something based on the IC2 channel, C2 channel equals null, just instantiate, and then we have a C2 message handler, was that what I called it? Channel handler, C2 channel handler. Public class. Then we have a C2 channel handler called C2 channel handler equals a new C2 channel handler with the input of C2 channel. And that way, if this was like a OneDrive channel, and then we had another like Slack channel, we could easily just switch that out. We could even have configurations pushing between the channels in order to dynamically change this, and then the C2 channel just would be able to handle that, which is nice. So that was the point of that basically. So I think technically this is a MS Graph API channel, and then we can have this receive data. And then we can have this send data. And then we need to have some sort of bool for if it's connected or not, which I guess is going to be based what this returns. So this is just going to take the byte stream, and this is interesting. So this is why this external C2 implementation makes more sense than others. So the Cobalt Strike original C2 implementation, you have to shellcode inject your beacon into memory, or effectively load it somehow into memory, establish a name pipe, and communicate that way. This uses C# reflecting loading to get into memory, so you don't have to do that those API stuff that some maybe detect. Yes, if you have an MC provider or a custom MC provider, they will have insight into this, but there's definitely ways to get around those signatures. But then I believe the communication is actually done. Okay, my VM. Okay, I need to take a snapshot and lower the memory of my VM. I think that's what's happening here. I think I have given it too much power. No, I'm only using 50% of my memory and 10% of my processor, but might have to give it a reboot. I don't know, it doesn't matter. But this communication actually happens through the reflection and not through a name pipe, which is better. Yes, you're invoking C#, and you have to be careful where you want to establish that C# CLR runtime, but still, it's like, it's nice. It's a, like, if he would have just done donut, shellcode injection, and a name pipe, that would be like, I'm guessing that was the original implementation maybe, but that would be a quick and dirty way of doing something that, in the case of C# makes sense, because that language allows reflective loading of the assembly. Which is sweet. Okay, so that's all good. Let's see how long I can do this before I have to reboot this VM. So I have to know if it's connected or not. I'm not sure how, and that was done simply through the TCP before. So I have to know if that initial. So how does this happen? So it reads the payload, create the drone controller, event is fired when the drone sends output data. That makes sense to send it back. So it expects to have, okay, so I'm guessing we'll see how the controller side or how the demo controller side looks like afterwards. But we have to establish if it's connected to it or not. For now, we could just do true and like make it really dirty, because if I execute payload and this isn't empty, then it's going to be in memory and we might just be fine. But let's just do true now to be really dirty. And then data is available. That's probably going to be if there's anything available in that payload afterwards. Again, I might have to so if, okay, so let's loop and okay. So let's do var new data and then do this, and if it's empty, hey, thanks so much, dude. Okay, yeah, it's a network stream level thing. Hey, thanks, I appreciate that. Thank you so much for the follow-up, the developer. So let's just check if it's not null, basically. Probably just gonna return null as the default, and then we can do receive message ace, and then we can just do new data. So like that, basically. Should basically just a null shake then, and then let's do 1 second of sleep or more, since this isn't a TCP connection. This is like communicating with an API and stuff. Okay. So that's the client portion roughly implemented. We haven't done any graph API thing yet. I just wanted to see if this logic makes sense. Now, if I recall correctly, in the service bus API, when I created something called Cobalt Service Bus, which you might want to check out, which is also an implementation of external C2, but using Azure Service Bus, which is another way of doing C2 comms, which is pretty cool, and it's a whitelisted domain in most cases, and it looks legitimate, and it's kind of cool. It's really dirty, and for the love of God, never use it operationally, but could be a point to start from. But yeah, either way. Okay, let's go into demo controller. Fuck this args. We don't need this listener stuff. We don't need listener start. Okay, so this is basically getting that. It's basically waiting for the incoming TCP connection before it establishes server control. Yeah, I do need the target and port for that. Actually, I do need that. That makes sense, but I don't need this. I don't need the listener stuff. So let's just, yeah, it's basically, God. So it keeps doing this because it has to reconnect to it for every new client that comes up. So, oh, I would have to implement a fucking database or file to keep track of new clients. We're not gonna do that. We're gonna be supporting one client because fuck no. And then this client is a TCP client, so we need to change how that works, which is the other way around. Okay, so let's do, I guess this should be the EC2 channel implementation then, or EC2 handler. Let's do, it should be the EC2 channel. So channel, there we go. And then this client is going to be var client equals new. Hey, SharpC2 here. And then var graph. Actually, why am I rewriting this? I could just copy this. Copy paste where we can, people. Let's just do this and then like that. So now we're doing the same thing. We're reinstantiating a new custom channel. We're giving that to our generic C2 handler, C2 channel handler, which supports any class based on interface. Ah, no worries, Skels. Like, I appreciate you. You've been, I think you've been literally almost like 99% of the streams. I definitely appreciate it. No worries. Your jobs comes first. Cool. And now we have to basically switch this out. So we do send message async. This is pretty much the same stuff. So this is definitely going to break stuff. Like 1000% this is going to break stuff. Because but we'll figure it out once we implement the Graph API and we get data flowing. This is an upstream. Let's just do the null check again. So upstream is going to be the client and then receive message async, and then if that upstream is not null, we're simply going to be like, cool, send data. If it is null, we sleep, it's fine. We sleep either way. Fuck that dispose, we don't want to do any cleanup. Okay, so this is kind of sort of implemented. Cool. So this is still needed to connect to this. That's fine. It creates one for new instantiation. This will only support the first connecting one, which is fine. Might have to add a thread sleep off. Okay, we have to do all through because it's just gonna die straight away if we don't. So that's fine. We could also do like control relay, whatever. Cool. And then it's okay. So it assigns that async callback that if I get any data from my team server, I'm gonna send that. I'm gonna start the controller, and then wait for messages. So is the controller start immediately going to trigger the payload, or do I have to instantiate that? So the controller start does the run controller, and the run controller does data when available and basically reads data on data from team server invoke. I'm trying to think how this will go about, because somebody has to request the first payload. I'm not sure I'm doing that because I'm receiving first. This is going to be 0 because the receiving is just going to look for a file. So this has to immediately generate up that payload, which I'm guessing. So it's done on the first connection to the team server. Okay, so is that going to be the handle client on data from team server async? So it's for to the team server. So it's going to be on this then? Trying to figure out. Let's see if I can find the get payload function. Okay, cool. So it will already trigger that send and queue a message. Cool, that makes sense. Yeah, that makes total sense. So what Rasta is saying is that on the instantiation of this new team server, it's going to connect to it, which it does during the handle client and the controller start, and that's going to initiate a new message, which is going to trigger send message async and put a file in our OneDrive, and then the client is going to be like, hey, new file. Cool, makes sense. because it's going to... That makes sense. There's no real reason. Like, why should the first connection... Why you always want to serve a payload. That's the first thing you have to serve anyhow. So why do the initial talk? So basically, this receive is kind of redundant. Kinda don't need this. No, it's not, because it's going to be there. It's totally not redundant. It's going to be ready for it. Cool. Awesome. So now, with all this other way, technically, we just need to implement the actual communication portion of it, which is kind of neat. So we are going to go into the Graph API channel, or we need to create a custom handler. So we're going to create a Graph API handler that's going to be based off our IC2 channel interface, which is going to demand that we implement two functions, which is receive and send. And we're going to do that. We're also going to need to have a construction or a constructor for it, which is going to take the string username we want to use and string password we want to use. And this is where the nice things comes in. So I have last part one, we created an account that we never got to use called SaltySec, which we are going to use this time. And if my conditional access policy is correct, only I should be able to log into it. So I'm going to show you guys the password. And if you want to try to log into it, you are welcome to. But technically, only my IP should be able to log into it. So I'm kind of testing production live. It doesn't really have access to much, so it's not the end of the world. I'm going to revoke the access if I see a login to it, but either way should be fine. So so it takes a username and password, and it has to get a token. Basically has to get a token, that's it. And then the receive data and send data is going to be reading and writing a file. So to get a token, we have to log into the Microsoft Federation endpoint. I'm going to steal that code from Team Filtration because I'm a lazy son of a gun. Son of a duck. I'm a lazy duck. Wait, this is new. Cool. And then, oh, this is going to be dirty code as well, but it's fine. It's fine, you guys. It's all okay. So I think that's going to be in the MSO handler. It's going to be in login spray attempt. Nope, that's for A&E. That's for the other one. This is what we want. So if it's ADF, if it's not ADFS, not ASO, this is what we want. So you want this URL encoded set of data. Yeah, so we have to have a shared HTTP client as well. So prop HTTP client, public HTTP client. That could be private, of course. Don't need to make that public. Might cause issues. Add the reference to system.net. We're gonna make that private. Something, and then HTTP client. And then this is going to create a new instantiation of that. So we have a new HTTP client going. It's going to be a new HTTP client, and then it's going to... So technically we should implement this as a public function so we could use it later if we want to. Let's do that. So let's do public async task pool, I guess. Login async, and that's going to use that HTTP client together with this code to do this. So kind of cheating here, I'll explain it in a bit. So HTTP client, it's going to be the URL, this is going to be the user agent, and then we have the username. And then the resource URI, which is the resource we want access to, which is going to be Microsoft Graph, and then the client ID. So for this, let's see if we can find those. I think those values are under helpers generic. Let's see if I remember correctly. Yep. So we're gonna choose the Microsoft Teams client ID because we get a good set of permissions just from that. Then we're going to pick the resource, which is Microsoft. Oh my god, it's beeping. Still having connection issue, or still having development issues, guys. How about that? That's where are the URIs? Where you at? Where are you at? Let's look for a graph. There we go. Graph.window. Yeah, I'm gonna have to reboot this machine. So I'm unsure if it's graph Windows.net or graph Microsoft, because those are actually two different endpoints. Graph API documentation. See, it is Microsoft.com. Cool. Let's ask for that resource. I don't know why it beeps at me. It's like, you are creating malicious content. You cannot do this. It is not allowed. Stop it. Stop it right now. That's what it's saying. HTTP response is successful. Telescope, let's just return true. Else, let's return false. We're going to make it really dumb. And then we're going to do JSON object equals JSON convert. I'm going to explain all this in a bit. I'm just going to put it out there right now. So let's just serialize that object as a dynamic. No, deserialize. Deserialize that object as a dynamic because I'm too lazy to create the function. And then content response. There we go. Cool. Awesome. Now we just need a user agent. I think I have that as well. Oh my god, why is this machine like blurping at me? Why? Don't be nice. We're going to be an iPhone. We are going to be. They said I could become anything. I became an iPhone. We are going to be an iPhone. Cool. So what this is doing, it's essentially taking that username and password, it's logging in using the client ID, which is the application we are pretending to be, or at least specifying we are when we log in, which is the grid of Microsoft Teams. That's going to be a static client ID that is used for for Azure Active Directory in general. That's client ID is going to be Teams. It's going to be available in all tenants most of the time. And then we're going to ask access to the Graph Microsoft MPI endpoint, or resource where we have all the OneDrive stuff. This is going to give us token information back. Now the endpoint is going to be get base URL. Oh my god. Yeah, I'm going to reboot. I'm going to go into, okay, this is it. This is it. Base URL. I can't work around this. I think there's no way I can work around this. Like, what did I install? Did I get owned? Did I install malware? Like, why? Okay. Base URL. Okay. Okay, that's fine. We're gonna do a reboot. Let's do a quick reboot here. Rastamouse got shells on my machine. Hopefully he didn't deploy the persistency yet. Let's just do a quick reboot here. Let's make sure it's all saved. Let's close it out. Let's do a snapshot just in case it's cursed. I'm gonna call that cursed. Snapshot. Let's do snapshot. So we got some time to talk then, I guess, while I reboot this VM, because I'm tired of beeping and blinking and all that crap. We're actually getting stuff done. I'm feeling like I'm actually making progress. I'm moving a bit quick, but it's fine. Cool. It's my Metasploit module that's doing the beeping. Literally pulled up like a beep module. Damn you, Rastamouse. Damn you, I say. Let's see if I can do a quick reboot. Restart. Like, imagine if this VM was not a VM and was connected to like a DVD drive, and you could like open and close my DVD drive all over again, all the time. So I think, depending on how this stream goes, I think this is going to be the last part of the custom SharpC2, if it goes the way I think it's going to go. And next stream, I actually want to take a stab at showing how we could do... I don't have a DVD drive, but imagine if I had. The ultimate troll is like making the DVD drive go this. What other features did ProRat have back in 2010 or 6? I think I remember the remote wipe. You could just wipe the drive. I think I remember making the screen black forever, so you could like black out the screen. mouse jiggle. I think I remember the mouse going crazy. You could like revert, change wallpaper. You could like revert the mouse, like left goes right. Like I remember you could do that. Make the keyboard not work. I think there's a lot of trolling stuff. So let me see how this reboot goes. I've seen flip screen. That's it. Okay, let's try again and see if Defender nuked my stuff or if we're good. Flip screen, yeah. Could totally work. I think that was the first rat I ever played with. Pro rat. I remember sub 7 as well. And then obviously Dark Comet. Dark Comet was the shit back in the days. Like gray hat style. Dark Comet was the shit. He's back on Twitter now, isn't he? Or back on. He's on Twitter now, right? Dark Coder. Didn't he re-release the like an older source code of sub 7 a couple of weeks back? I think so. Okay, are you gonna beep at me now or are we good? Are we friends again? We good? Okay, let's see if it beeps at me again. Cool, so that login is gonna be like, so let's just do string and then access token, and then it's gonna be like var login equals await. We can't wait, that's fine. Login async username, password, and then get awaiter get result like that. Can you have a async constructor? Is that possible? I haven't thought about that. Can you do that? Not really. Well, that's fine though. It's not like it's a big deal. Cool. And then for the client example, let's do new graph API handler and then a username and password. And we are going to get those from our file. So the thing is, do I go balls out and just show you the username and password and paste it in the code and like watch people try to log in and hopefully not get access to the tenant? Or do I not do that? Ah, fuck it, YOLO, YOLO. You guys are my friends. You would never, you would never, right? Who would dare compromise Salty Sex legit corp account? Who dares? I bet you somebody. I have the sign-in logs on my right screen. I'm gonna leak your IP, guys. IKEA? What the fuck is an IKEA? I'm gonna leak your IP, guys, if you try. Come at me, bro. Me, Nate Kappa. Yes, fuck that. I want to run that. No, I don't want to trust shit. I don't want to run team server. God, I want to run this demo client. Thank you very much. Yeah. What is the problem now? Missing compiler required. Microsoft C# run a binder convert. External C2.net. What the f? Missing compiler required? Binder convert? I break your arms if you attack my servers. Physical vuln management. It's the best honeypot ever. Guys, please don't hack my server, guys. Come on, guys. Be nice. Could not be found. Okay, so external C2 can't compile because of a dependency issue? Missing compiler, require member convert. I don't know what that means. God, why are you in the chat then, Rasta? You're supposed to know what everything means. God damn. Let's see. Oh, I think I can't use dynamic. I can't use dynamic. Fuck. Add reference to Microsoft C#. Let's see. That's true, right? Your job is just to make sure ScaleSec stays in line. Literally your job. I would have you do nothing else. Microsoft C#. Microsoft C#. There we go. Okay, let's see if that works. Okay. Please compile. Hey, 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 it worked. Woohoo! Yes, I don't have a URI yet. Let me just pull that from Team Filtration. Where the fuck is get base URL? Get base. Get base. There we go. See, put that in there, and then need to take a look at this output. I don't want to cast it to string. Who wrote string there? I want to var it. Now, I have to be careful not showing you guys the access token, because some motherfucker is going to screenshot that and then type that access token out from the screenshot and actually log in. So I think I have to actually go to try intermission for this. I don't trust you. Do you use the Visual Studio's hot reload feature at all? Literally never heard of it. Please explain. Sorry guys, I have to hide. I cannot show you the access token. You are going to hack me all. You're going to leak the user list from my tenant. It's good GUI for dev. It is? So I'm going to put BPD and to string, and then access token. Okay, back. I've seen no scam activated. Okay, so I think I did it. Yep, it's there. Cool. So it works now. Cool. So now I just need to actually implement the API calls to read and receive data, and I also have to update the HTTP client with this access token. So what I'm going to do is, again, check the team filtration source, because I do it in the team filtration source, and I'm a lazy son of a gun. Who would like to rewrite anything? Who would ever? So let's check this. Access token, yada yada yada, yada yada yada. Don't I assign it like access token anywhere? Authorization. Okay, let's just fucking do the documentation then. So let's do MS Graph API documentation. And hopefully it's gonna be like how to off. Really? You're not gonna explain to me how to off? Now I have to find it. Oh. Give me a second, guys. I'm sorry. This is the dumb stuff that I forget, like the header authorization header. There we go. So I'm gonna add the HTTP client a new default request header. It's going to be that access token that we got. We dope. Cool. Okay, cool. It allows you to edit the code live without restarting the program. If you want to hide some property from the debugger, like to prevent us from seeing the off token, you can add the following attribute: debugger display XXX. That's cool. That's a neat one. Noting down. Screenshot taken in brain. I don't think I'm going to be debugging this much more now, because now the authorization token, the access token is in the authorization header with the prefix bearer and space, so I think we're good. But that's a good one. Noted down for later. Live streaming is fun. Okay, let's see if somebody logged in. Failure. Somebody from Oslo. Failure denied. Access denied. What application is that? Firefox. So somebody used their Linux instance, seems like. Or it's a Windows machine. Failure. Denied. Oslo, hacker capital of the world. Do you remember that scene from Iron Man where he has to travel to the data center in Oslo to stop the nuclear codes, or to like find what was his name? The guy taking over the world in that film. Fuck, the robot guy. Okay, so let's choose. Sounds like a Mulvad IP. Might be. Did you guys see the Mulvad attempting to get raided? It's kind of nice, or kind of cool. Okay, so the first thing we gotta do is to get a list of drives, I think, or if we can get the root drive. Me drive. Get current user's drive. Assign in user drive and using delegation of the end can make access from me singleton if user one is not provisioned by the user as installed. This request will override provision user's drive. That's kind of cool. Okay, let's do get this. So the question is, are we just going to do this like I think I should do it, or are we going to? Okay, let's do that. So going to do this. Let's just do get drive HTTP equals underscore HTTP client, and then get async. I'm gonna call that, and then it was me slash drive, and then with that, and then whoop whoop beep beep ba, and then content is actually going to be get drive, await content, read as string async. And then it's going to complain because it's going to be like, no data received. Just return null. And wait, why is it complaining? Async. Okay, so it has to be async. Is that fine in terms of the? Okay, that's fine. Okay. So that's going to be called from client, right? Receive message, and that's going to return receive data. Cool. So we should see that trigger about here. See. Let's see that content. That content is going to be this, which is going to be on the display account name, OneDrive, URL. So that's going to be the SharePoint. That's fine. Isn't there like a root? I swear there's a root. Drive items. Upload item. Upload item. That's going to be me drive items ID. That's going to be put to replace an existing. Request to upload a new. That's going to be put as well. That's going to be parent ID, and I'm guessing the parent ID is going to be the root drive. So we're looking for an ID. So description b underscore last entity drive. So that's probably going to be the root. And this is going to be the ID for the root drive. That's my guess. Is there any reference to the root drive? Drives. Get drive me. I will display the root drive. Okay, that's fine then. So we'll do drive and then we'll do the first item. Okay. So looking at this content, can we prettify this? Okay, string manipulation. Nope. Okay, cool. So we just need to pull the ID from this single object, or is it a list? No, it's a single object. And use that ID as the parent ID when creating the file to get it in the root right, I think. So we're going to, oh my god, it's gonna blink. Nope. Breathe in and out. Okay, let's do root drive ID, and then let's do content. Let's do JSON convert deserialized object, not serialized, deserialized object. We're gonna smack it into a dynamic. So what I've usually done, which I did a lot before, is that I actually took the JSON, expected JSON output, made a class of it, and deserialized it to the class. But when rapidly developing stuff like this, and we don't really give a shit about handling errors and like the application working more than the stream, we just want to make a dirty proof of concept, then we could just use dynamics and then ask for the value and then cast it to a string. So that's going to be the root drive ID. Sounds like something we want to store because we don't need to do this every time. Root drive ID. We're going to do it like that, and then we're going to smack this into a dedicated function called public async task bool get root drive async. Cool. Return if content. Now if get drive HTTP is successful, return true. If not, return false. And task of course. There we go. And then let's do the same with this. Root drive success. Login success. And we can potentially ever handle that. Cool. Let's see. So that works now. So now we should be able to upload files. So let's go to drive items, upload item, check in files, upload item. Cool. So we're going to do me put drives and then parent ID and then slash content. So put, that's going to be this. Like that. It's perfect. And then the parent ID is going to be root drive ID. And then the file name is going to be just something static for this. So let's just do. Okay, that's interesting. So I actually have to do it like this because they're actually expecting a fucking bracket in there. They want me to jam the bracket into the thingy. Okay, so I guess we're not doing it this way then. We're doing it this way. And then we're moving this. And then file name, right? And then sounds like again we're doing this. File name. And for this, let's just smack that. Oh, okay. Let's just do a static file name right now. File name, super, totally not C2 data.txt. Cool. Cool. And that's going to be a put, not a post, a put. Because they don't know how to implement REST, that's fine. And then sounds like they want a context type text plain. I guess that's fine. The contents of the file goes here. Okay, so let's just do new string content then, I guess. So let's just put that URL into a separate and then a semicolon and a new string content. And then I think it requires 3 parameters, the actual data. So that's going to be, this is pudding though, but that's going to be convert to base 64 string and then the input data, which is going to be byte array, and then the encoding is going to be encoding UTF-8, and then the meta type is going to be text plain. Oops, let's just type that manually then, text / plain, cool. And then all this needs to go into send data and not receive data. Cool. Why is that bad? Why you not like this? DF8, okay, async. Cool, so now we're just using our junk wrap file name and we're putting it up, and then we're doing the meta type text plain with the input data converted to base 64 string because we want to handle byte streams, and then just making sure I don't know why we're returning byte at sent data, but if okay, fuck it, we'll just do that. It's fine. And then I'm guessing to get data we do the exact same thing, but if we're downloading item, I'm guessing we're doing just get and then content, and then that will just, so we're actually getting a response that we have to download. Interesting. Okay. If I want to see the content though, is it still like that? Items, item ID. I can still do, okay, so it returns the item ID, which we might want to store. No, we can still, I can't do file name anymore, so now I have to do item ID, so it has to return a string. So send data returns a string with the item ID. Okay, that's fine. I guess that could be, since we're only using one file, that could be just put in the private, and then we wouldn't have to specify it for the receive. So file name, and we can use random file names as well. Cool, item ID. And then every time we send data, we upload it as the same file name, and we get the same item ID. And that's probably just going to be the exact same thing as this, I'm guessing, because we're going to get one object return. So let's do this. Item ID. And then var content equals get drive content read string as async. File name could also just be private static. Cool. So the input data is going to be this. That's going to be fine by 64. And then to read the data, we need the actual item ID. So that's me drive items and then this. So receive data is going to be get async. I'm going to replace from me to this, remove one more of those, double of me. Okay, so I'm guessing I implemented that wrong as well. I need an extra one. That's fine. No, that's correct, but this is, no, that's fine as well. Cool. Item ID, so we'll just do, what did we call it? File ID? Item ID, like that. Cool. So we're getting that, and this is going to give us the 302, which I think our HTTP client is automatically going to redirect to, and it should give us the data in return. So let's just do var file data equals new, no, equals get drive. It would be content, read the staging stream. Wait. Okay, so let's just try this. Let's try this. Let's try this. And let's just test it. So we're going to go to demo client. We're going to create a new C2 channel, which is going to do all that stuff. Let's do var new test equals wait send message async, and then that's going to be encoding UTC get bytes, and then we're going to do this is a test message. Yes. And that can't decide one implicit, that's fine. And let's see if we can receive it as well. Await C2 channel, receive message async. Cool. Let's see how badly this fails. It would never work on the first attempt. Okay, this doesn't count. It didn't run, so it doesn't count as a failure. So it still could work at this first attempt. So now the interface is complaining because I need to return a string. And that reminds me, I need also to encode it then. So before actually putting up the data, and then I do this. Yeah, I do that. And then I receive data. I need to technically return a file data. Convert from a 64 string. File data. Cool, let's see how this goes. Oh, again, what is the issue now, sir? Receive data, returns bytes. Send data, receive data, returns bytes. That's fine. Send data doesn't return anything. Does not implement send data. Okay. Because send data has a byte input data and returns a string. That's fine. Cool. Now it should run. See. Okay, so it gets the root drive. Let's see if we can get the ID. I have the ID of a root drive. Cool. I specify that in the private. I was going to go into receive or send, sorry. Yes, I'm gonna follow that. Let me follow. Oh, it's gonna beep. No, it didn't beep. Do you want to continue? Yes, whatever. Cool, and that's going to do the put and then see the response on that. That's going to be 400. Restricted something, bad request. Okay, so why is it a bad request? Let's see the content, invalid, error, client ID. Invalid request message, invalid request in error, date, request. Okay, so it's a invalid request, but why is it an invalid request? So I have the root drive ID. Does it not have them? Is that, okay, so the documentation is unclear. Do they want me to? Do they want me to have those parentheses, or do they want me to not have the parentheses? Confusion strikes me. Okay, let's try without the parentheses then. My best guess, I don't see why they would want parentheses, and I'm pretty sure I didn't implement it that way in the fucking team filtration stuff. I could just look at that. Okay, so that works. No, that first portion works, but don't need that. We know that works. Bad request, doesn't like it. Returns to root drive, that's fine. And then the file name, totally not this. And then the content, put set, and then the content is input data, text plain, that's fine. So I'm guessing it's having a, maybe I can't have root drive as items. Thank you so much for the follow, Lilycat? On Lilycat? Close, I'll take it. Upload. Parent ID. What the fuck is parent ID? Upload a new file. Okay, so I can just do root. What the I knew I could do root. I recall that. Let's just do root. Jesus. Why would I do anything else? I knew it. I knew I could just do root. Me drive root. And I don't need a folder. I literally just need the file name, which is this. I knew it. I knew it. Root, and then this file name, content, and it doesn't have those parentheses, so that's totally file. Receive data, items, item ID. Cool. So I don't need this portion at all. Root drive ID, don't need that. Don't need that at all. Cool, let's see. There we go, 201 created. Cool, and then in return I get the URL, and I also probably get the ID, I'm assuming. Yes, I get the ID, and that is put. Cool, so now if I go to get data, I get, drumroll, hey, I get the data, it worked, it fucking worked. Woohoo, C2 channel implemented, done, end of stream. Nah. This is probably not the end of it. Probably not the end of it. So this also allows me to just generate a random file name for each time, so you technically wouldn't have to go through all that trouble just to yeah, let's do that. Let's do file name equals, oh, come on. File name equals new GUID to string plus txt, whatever. Let's just create random ass files. Cool, so now I kind of want to run it and see if it works. It would be hilarious if it just worked out of the box. But first, I gotta take a pee break and grab another beer. So I'll be back in like 2 minutes. I actually think I have a... Do I have a... No, I don't have a... Ooh, I have a BRB. Let's see. Oh my god, it worked. Woohoo! Short break. Just gotta get a beer and take a pee. Back. Oh, okay. I actually have a break. I'm such a professional streamer, guys. I even have a fucking break slide. Give me a break. Woo! We got another bear. Okay, let's see if this works, because then technically the demo controller should be able to push up a message containing the bytes. And then technically it should be fine. Oh, if this works, if this just works on my first attempt, that's gonna be like a milestone for me for a long time. I'm gonna live a long time on that. Technically, the catch of all catches. Oh, it has to be an IP. Blah, blah, blah. New IP address? Yeah, I think so. What? Oh my god, how did you do it? Oh, parse, that was so close. Okay, let's see. So technically, this should push a message. Okay, let's. Oh, you know what? Fuck it. Let's just see if this works. Okay, now I'm thinking. Nobody's clearing the message. I have to delete or empty out the message after I received it, or it's gonna create a bunch of like back and forth. Or I have to have two files. I have to have an outbound and inbound. Let's try the nuking method first. Oh, I have to have two files. I have to have two different files. Yep, I have to have it. I have to have two different files in and out. Or it's gonna... But that's easy. Easy, because I could just go into my C2 handle thing. And I could be like, hey, string file name. No, it... yeah, I could be like string file name. And then I could be like C2 channel file name. File name equals Filnam. Filnam, that's a German file name. File name. I guess channel name. It's fine. And then I'll go into this and I'll make this public. And I'll remove this. And I'll make it so that I delete the message after sending it. So after I get the, no, I can, after reading it, I mean, not after sending it. Or I should at least empty out the message. Yes, I should empty out the message. So let's just do await, send data, and then new byte empty. Because then that should empty. So I'm the okay, so you fire up the channel, it connects to the SharpC2 server, external C2, and then it sends a payload up, and then that's fine, and then it waits to receive, and it's going to listen to another file name. The C2 client fires up, it receives the first file name, which has to be that first one, and then after that it deploys the payload, clears that out, and then communicates using a different file name. Oh, I have to have a send and receive file name. Oh, pain. I do, or it's gonna be like a collision stuff. Yeah, I have to have a send and receive file name. And they definitely have to clear themselves. So clear themselves is fine. So let's just do send file name. So send file name, receive file name. So the receive goes to the receive data file name. Oh, that's an item ID. Which I get when I put, or I have to look up. There must be a way to look it up just based on. I can't imagine you can't download it just based on the file name, item path, root. Yeah, you can use this. That makes more sense, way more sense. Let's use that. Oops. Yeah. Double me, and then this. And then this is receive file name. It's a send file name. Cool. And then both of these need to be public. They are. And then in the EITSU channel implementation, I have to be send channel string receive channel. Oh, Oh. And then I have to have that in the interface. Can you do that even? I guess you can. You have to demand it. Yeah, that's fine. Graph. Let's just do this. Boop, bitty bap, into the interface. And then it's not going to be public. It's just going to be a string. And that's fine. And then that's fine. And then I could do receive file name and send file name. Cool. So now I'm just gonna make it really dumb and be like, so this is inside the client out, client in, and then this one should do the other one. This should do client in, client out. Oh, this is gonna be interesting. This is gonna be really interesting to see if this works. Okay, let's see if we could just log in. Right, that's the nice thing. We can log in and we could just see this happen. Oh. OneDrive. Yes. Am I not logged in? Oh, give me a second. Pretty sure I was logged in. Apparently I'm not. Yes, your OneDrive is ready. Cool. My files. There we go. Told not see the data. Cool. So let's fire up the demo controller and let's see if it uploads a file called client out. Let's fire up demo controller. And then it should upload a file called client out. At some point. Oh, it's not connected because I don't have the team server up. So it's gonna time out. Of course, we need the team server running. God damn it. I know that. SharpC2, team server, bin debug, no, bin release. Team server. Let's see if we can get that running. There we go. This, and then SharpC2. Let's connect. Oh, Flang, Rasta Rocks, Langvik. Okay, accept. Handler, external C2, graph, API. There we go, saved. Okay, so now if I fire up the demo controller, it should delete establish a connection and upload the file. So it should upload a file called client out. Come on, don't fail me. Aren't you supposed to do this on initial communication? Rasta, get in here. Get over here. I should debug this. Lol, don't look at me. Maybe the client needs to send that initial message. But it doesn't do that. That's just the other way around. It needs to receive one. So if I go to the demo controller, it should immediately fire off a send message on data from team servers. Always my fault. Always. Of course it is. Maybe it's failing to connect to the team server? Could be it. Let's try. Demo controller. Skelltech suddenly woke up. Rasta's fault. Always Rasta's fault. So, target. I should probably stop spamming it. I don't know why I'm doing this in a separate task if I'm only handling one connection. I could just wait forever. Find port 1337. Okay, so it's failing. That's fine. Cool, so it's doing something now, cool. Try to return that, and if it's 0, just return null, because I have a null check in place, so that should be fine. Because it's trying to receive data first. There we go, so file data is going to be resource not found. That makes sense, because it hasn't been created yet. So it's going to be like, cool, that's fine, and return null. And then if it's not null, it's just going to keep waiting. So it's going to keep receiving, but it's not sending that initial message. It's just waiting on receiving. As far as I can tell. Or, oh, it's been created, client out. Ah, it has data. It doesn't have data. Okay, so there was something wrong with that client out. Or it's checking client in, so there's something wrong with client out. Let me redo this and see where the upload thing happened. Definitely happening stuff here. Definitely. I don't care about that. Fuck that. I want to look at the other stuff. So it's input data of 0. Why is it input data of 0? Interesting. That's fine. I don't really care about that item ID anymore. That's fine. Because it doesn't use that. It doesn't matter, but it's okay. Okay, so that's fine. Okay, but it's sending 0 out. So why isn't the original connection to the team server giving me a payload? Let's go back and look at this original source code. I wanted to give demo to someone, but they canceled. So I have time. Drinking 3 million and just watching stream. Nice. So I'm trying to figure out why the demo controller is not actually giving me a payload from the C2 server, from the server controller. Do I need to do that somehow? Start, run controller. Is data available? Read data, invoke data. That's fine. Data available, that's fine, that's fine, that's fine, that's fine, stop. Okay, so why is it, let's look at the original source code. I want to figure out why it is not, producing me a payload to give it. Oh, I'm not parsing it on maybe. That's maybe why. Send data, upstream bytes. No, that's maybe why. Maybe I'm just a dum-dum, as always. So send data. In the graph API, send data, does this, but this does this. No, it does parse it along, so I don't see why not. Interesting. Let's look at the source code. Let's look at the original implementation. SharpC2 API, client, SharpC2 demo controller. Okay, so it's starting up. Block until client connects. That's fine. That's just waiting for the, oh, okay, waiting for, okay, block until a client's connect. Okay, so there is initial request. Okay, let's just run demo controller then. Let's just run demo controller then, because that can just keep failing, that's fine. And then let's try to run client and see if the client has to make the initial request. Could not load, 0 bytes loaded. That makes sense because it's 0 bytes in that, so it has to ignore it. So if I go to demo client and it goes receive message, if execute payload, right? So it's this. While not deployed, let's just keep doing this. Okay, let's see that. So now it's just gonna loop forever as long as that demo controller doesn't have any data available for it. Oh, the team server is dead. That makes sense. The team server crashed because I was talking to it too much. That makes total sense. Why didn't I think about that? Lol. I'm such an idiot. God damn it. It makes total sense. Length is more than 0. Let's just make sure. That makes sense now, Rasta. It's not your fault. I was spamming you. Cool. So now it's just waiting. Cool. Okay. So now, with the team server back up, if I fire up demo controller, it should establish one connection. Team server shouldn't crash, and it crashes. Okay, let's figure out what's going on with demo controller now. Okay, unable to write data to transport. An existing connection was forcibly closed. Okay, that's probably That's probably because it crashed again. So let's take a look at the team server. Why am I spamming it too hard? What's the issue we know here? Unable to write forcefully closed, so it's crashing. Okay. Is that because I am constantly hammering it? It is. No, it needs to be a wait while true, or needs to run in a background task, so I can just do this and not await it, and then I'll just do like console read line, because I'm too lazy to actually create a separate thread. Fuck it, it's fine. Probably shouldn't have a breakpoint here then. Cool. It's failing though because it's not existing. Let's do it again. So now it should at least upload that first file, right? Nope. Nope. And crashes. Why are you crashing, bro? Bruh. Why you crash? Let's look at the demo controller again. That's fine. I mean, we could just do this. It's fine. Like we could do that. We could do the whole thing where we roll through and create the server control and the handle client and all that. Lol, you're killing me. Stop crashing, or else. I see no crash. Do I see a file with data in? I see no file with data in. But I don't see crash, which is good. About a minute ago, so it never triggered them. Because it runs this as an async, which starts this whole process. Okay, so now it connected. Why is it constantly doing that? That's probably why it's like, it doesn't like it. I actually didn't think this was gonna be such a pain. Well, true. That's a really, really good call. It's almost like we're making in a million instantiations of that. How did you see it? Oh, good call though. But why is it still... It's still not giving me anything though, anything back. I don't think you need... No, so okay, so what I reverted the changes I did, but... So I'm not handling multiple connections, so I don't need a group at all. But we could create a new task for it so it runs, and it runs asynchronously, and I could just readline it, wait for it. But if I debug this should be the first message sent with data from the controller, but I don't see like where are you actually requesting that initial. Is it under here? So that initial communication, run controller, its cancellation, if data is available, get stream. Okay, so that first connection. Okay, so I know what the issue is now because the team server crashed so many times. The handler isn't automatically starting back up again. So that's fine. We'll reconnect to it and get the handler back up, and then this should work. Is what I'm guessing. Flung 2. Flung 2. What was the password? Rasta Rocks. There we go. So handlers, external. Oh, it actually is there. Let's create a new one. 1337 test. After I call the start, it should get there. So get stream should then return it. So let's go back. So this should trigger that send message. I'm only going to debug the send message and see if it triggers it and if there's any data to be sent. So it's triggered and there's data. Hey, it's payload data. Whoop. Cool. So now it's sent data. Port is open. Team server crashed. Is it because I'm not responding back? Why crash? It did get the data. So now there's no data there. Interesting. So send message. Send data. Let me hook that. Graph API. Send data. Let's go back and see what the issue is. Is it a too big of a request? Maybe that's crashing it, but I don't know why. I don't see why the team server would crash. That's why I'm having issues understanding. Cool. So it's string that, and it has now it has 0 bytes. So I have to restart the handler probably. So go boop boop. Is there a reconnect button? Maybe I'm sending 0 bytes to team server, not handling it. Let's go back to this. So if upstream not null, and okay, if upstream length is more than 0, send data. Yeah, you're probably right. I'm guessing that's it. Or you're not probably right. You're right. That's what it is. Flung. Rasta Rocks. Yes. Handlers, let's delete it and bring it up again. 1337. Rasta Rocks. And I don't know, like, if no, now it's gotta beep at me again. Okay, so we got data now. It's the payload. It's posting it successfully. It's getting the ID back, setting that. Cool. And it's server still up. Cool. So I'm not sending 0 bytes back, which was the error. And if I go over here and I check client out, it has data. It has payload data. Nice. So now if I fire the client, it should just work, right? No, I don't want to stop debugging. That's the issue. Okay, that's since oh, fuck you, Visual Studio and your crap. Okay, let's restart that handler. So Rasta 137, cool. Now that I know the demo client kind of sort of works, or the demo controller, let's open that up. Debug, demo controller, bin debug. Compile 944, that's now, it's connected, it's sending the data, cool, and now we can actually debug the client. Let's do that. So the client, oh, it just works. Not 3 hours though, 2 hours, thank you very much. So the payload now is 0. It shouldn't be 0. Okay, let's figure out why. I'm guessing client out and all that mismatched. Oh, let's go into this and see why. So receive data. So now it should be client out, right? Should be reading from client out. Client out.txt. If I go there. What? No! What? Malware? No, no, malware detected. Lol. Okay, we need to encrypt it. We need to add AES encryption. I got one. It technically works now. I just need to add AES encryption. AES C# GitHub. Yes. Yes. I want it really simple. I don't want this crap. Just want it to work. Install NuGet. Cool. We'll just do that. Who said MS doesn't have a sense of humor? Fuck, now I have to install that nugget as well. That's fine. It's okay. It's okay. We'll just do it. Like, it has 61k downloads. It must be good, right? There's no way this is malware. Impossible. 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 Surely cannot be malware, right? Who has ever heard of supply chain attacks in nugget packages? Never happened before. Literally impossible. Cannot be hacked. We are good. Let me steal one of his. Oh, if I only did this earlier, I would actually do this within 2 hours. Now I'm over the mark. Nice. Nice. So in the why did I do it there? I only needed it here. So receive data before returning it. We need to decrypt it. So decrypt. I installed the NuGet packages in both wrong repos. It's kind of cool that I managed to do that. I'm really proud of myself for that one. It's fine though. It's fine. It's all the gross proof of concept. Nobody cares. Nobody's ever going to use this. Hopefully. Hope to God they are not. Didn't I just install you, bro? Bruh. Okay, this is going to end up me just finding the snippet. Yeah, we're finding the snippet. Fuck it. We're finding the snippet. I don't know why I went for NuGet package net. Dumb. Nice. Can you use using maybe? Ah, fuck, it's okay. So what's that? Decrypt. So do we wanna encode? We wanna encode after encrypt, so we gotta decode before encrypt. So let's actually modify this to just take a byte. Fuck, let's not do that because it's pain. So let's do, we receive the data, we first have to convert it from base 64, so encrypted bytes, like that. And then we have to take those bytes and we have to encode UTC-8, get the string of those bytes because this wants a string, and that's fine. And then we get the decrypted string back, which we then have to encode with get bytes. Yeah. We're doing it this is the way, guys. Don't you worry about it. It's fine. Send data. So before we smack it over to base 64, we take that byte array and we encrypt it. We're just gonna use password. See how that works out, because why not? Cool. So now we got to kill the demo controller. Okay, so now it is time for test, guys. You ready? So we compile everything. We fire up demo controller. It's just gonna work. There's not gonna be any jazz or fuzz about it. And then we're going to receive data, and the payload is not 0. And it's gonna hit that. We're gonna create a new demo controller, and I'm going to stop breaking stuff now. Fuck, could not load bytes. Could not load file assembly and about load function letter one of those dependencies. Okay, bad EL format. Okay, so I fucked up the decryption routine, or it didn't replace the file yet. You didn't decrypt, did I not? Send data, encrypt. Receive data, decrypt. I did. File data basics. Man, it's because the file there hasn't been replaced yet. Probably. We're just gonna do this. You're just gonna nuke it all. Why was it 1 meg? That's weird. So let's do this again. Let's open this again as well. Rust. Boop, boop. Debug. Rerun this. There we go. Demo controller, fired up, compiled now. Demo client. Fuck. Okay, so it's something about the decryption stuff that it isn't liking. So receiving the data, it's going to be so it's when it's sending the data, it's taking the raw bytes, it's making it a string, it's encrypting it, it's getting an encrypted string back, and then it's base 64 encoding that string byte array. So when I'm decrypting it, I should first base 64 decode it. I should then get the string for the bytes. I should then decrypt it. Those decrypted strings should become bytes. All that is fine. I guess the simplest way to test that the decryption encryption works would be by just going into demo client and be like this. Yeah, let's just do that. Oops. Oh, fuck off. And then to the same file. No, that won't work. But yeah, we can do like this. That's fine. So I put that, then I'm reading it. File data, bunch of junk. Byte 64, decrypted. This is a test message. Bytes. It's fine. So the encryption works fine. So there's something about oh, maybe is it possible? Oh, I know why. Of course, I'm an idiot. It's because I'm reading in. I'm compiling for any CPU, and I'm trying to invoke a binary running on 64-bit most likely. That's why. Doesn't that make sense, Rasta? I think that makes sense. I'm gonna go out on a limb and say it makes sense. That makes sense, doesn't it? Makes total sense. I think that makes sense. And then we might have to run the client not in a debug state as well. Rasta rocks C2 go to be review. Yes, that's fine. Handlers, external, new kit, open it, Rasta 137. It's open. Everything's been recompiled, 64-bit. Let's kill the demo controller, and then let's fire up bin 64-bit debug demo client and bin 64-bit debug demo controller. And now it's going to be wrong because the client is communicating like that. And client in. It's gonna fuck up this. Let's not do that then. A second ago, that's actually, notice a much lower file size, 88 bytes. 1.5. Oh wait, is put continuously adding to the file? That would be hilarious if that was the case. Same. Okay, let's try something. Demo controller. After that first send, is it doing it more than once? Is that the issue? Is it continuously updating it? Should I delete it maybe? Not download it. Should I delete it? I could download it, decrypt it, and take a look at the file and see if it's reflectable. Or see if it's a proper .NET file. But let me do demo controller and see if it runs this send with multiple datas and expects me to piece it together or something. Guess that could be possible. So it's reading. That should give me empty, right? Because it contains no data. The resource could not be found. So it's wiping it. Right, resource could not be found. File data. It's fine. Return null. But the resource does not exist. Trying to create client in, and then it doesn't exist, and I'm wiping it with client in. Oh, that doesn't matter. Okay, okay. Override file name. So I'm not. It's not wiping itself. It's not wiping because it's wiping the other file and not itself with that wipe command. So file name override. String buffer file name equals send file name if string is null or empty, buffer file name equals this. If string is not null empty, and we'll do it like that so we don't fuck it up, and then we need to add that as well to the interface. That's why. Because then when this is attempting to wipe itself, it needs to wipe the receiving end like that. Which is why I'm thinking it's the file size is building up. We'll see. Deleted it. So now running demo controller, team server is still up. That's fine. Okay, interesting. It doesn't do shit. Maybe the team server needs to be ending. It doesn't matter at all. Okay, let's restart it. Oh, of course. It's going to be like, I can't connect timeout in like 30 seconds. But I'm too lazy, so I'm not gonna reconnect button. And also remember me, that would be nice. Okay, so running demo controller now, and then hooking the send function so we know what it's sending. It's sending data 65. That makes sense. Sending to that makes sense. Oh, come on. Well, I don't know why this VM hates me. And then the send buffer file name is going to be send file. Oh, I didn't change this. Makes sense. Buffer file name. Yep. Let's see if I can actually continue with that. That'd be dope. Yeah, I can. Buffer file name is going to be client out for the first one, but then the second time it hits is on the receiving end. It should be clear the other one, so that should be fine. So now only made one request. So there's bytes there now, and it's, I don't know why it's specifying. Could be just that it's converting it to base 64, and therefore it's like, it must be this big. Could be. Gonna while stab at that. And then the demo client, which now needs to be recompiled, which I not sure if I did. This might crash. Could not load file or assembly. But then it zeroes it out. It doesn't zero it out because I did have to recompile it. So stopping this, recompiling, nuking this, and now running the demo controller again. Now 10:02, cool. It should put that file out there and then communicate with it. That's fine. Demo client now, it should wipe itself as well. Object not set to reference. That's fine. So if that's just if payload equals no. Not. Let's just redo that. So now there's a file there. Should be. No. Okay, so the demo client, demo controller is a bit meh sometimes. Demo controller, bin debug 1002, that's literally the latest one. Should upload the file. Uploaded the file. Doing this. Meaning it has received the payload. The payload size is much bigger. It's much bigger than it was before. So the 6.4 something is now something 10.06. So there's definitely some like base 64 madness going on. But I tested the decrypt encrypt. It's fine. So why is it complaining about that now? And now it's going to be like, no, can't run. Okay, that makes sense. It's definitely something in terms of the data not being transferred correctly here. So let's go back to that receive message and then channel to receive and then stop it right here. It shouldn't. Try it. Let's nuke this. No, actually, I don't need to nuke this now because it failed. Let's see. Maybe it's like part 1 of 2 because it's so big. So this ends in XC5, and then if I go into this and look at it, it ends in XC5. So it's definitely reading all the base 64 data, and then it's wiping it. Oh, fuck you. Oh, come on, don't be. Yes, it's fine. Work with me here, Visual Studio. Why? I literally never had this issue in the VM. Visual Studio being so mad at me. Send file name. It's not writing if it's 0, which is what I'm putting it up against. So okay, so I need to check. Okay, so that's going to be an edge case where the file name override is set. So if it's not string and then like that. Yes. I think I have the issue of it not wiping itself at least, but that's another story. That's one thing. And then this isn't empty. Then it's going to be like, or else it's going to wipe it. Cool, let's see. It's going to get it. So close. Not giving up, no way. Unless my computer melts, then I have to give up because this VM is about to melt. If and what about it? Or now it's at least wiping it afterwards. That's fine. So now it's at least gone afterwards. 60 bytes. Wait, why is 60 bytes in there? Oh, it's the encryption fucking up with the padding. I had this exact issue. It's the encryption. Oh my god, it's because the encryption key is adding some sort of fucking okay, give me a second. I know what's going on. Give me a secondarino. I'm gonna add a much dumber encryption. Give me a second here. Know what's going on. Give me a second. Yep. I'm gonna make this real dumb now. I know what's happening. 100%. Cool. So now I know what's going on. So now I could do helpers, crypto. This is receiving data, so this needs to decrypt. And then I don't have to fuck around with this getString stuff. It's going to be a byte and it's going to return a byte. So I can just do boom, boom. And then I need to provide it. I need to provide data, a key, which needs to be 32. So we could do, let me just go to like random grid generator. That's going to be 32. That's going to be the key. And then the IV is going to have to be the half of that. So let's just generate new one and half it. That's fine. Is it like this? Is it like this? Take first 16 bytes. Take 16. Cool. No overload takes 4, that's fine. So that 30 is going to be password. Cool. Nice. So this is actually going to work. Can't I take 16 off? Okay, to list. Or to array. Nice. Cool, cool, cool. And then the decrypt is going to be the same. Don't need all this crap. Don't need that. You just do, and then encrypt input data, and then okay. Now I think it's actually going to work. I have hopes now. So I'm going to delete this. Okay, this is gonna work and I can leave this fucking VM real soon. Hopefully. Jesus. Greetings, what's up? Stanley Show. Did you have similar issues when you were developing like the comms or something else, Rasta? In terms of that AES stuff fucking up? Let's stop the team server. Let's do all again. Let's rebuild the entire thing. Let's create the team server. Smack up SharpC2. Server localhost. Mr. Me. Rasta Rocks. Go into handlers. And then external, delete the first handle, works. This is gonna work, 100% this is gonna work. Let's do rebuild it to make sure, build that client, that's fine. So if I go to demo controller now, 1014, that should communicate and should upload our first encrypted payload, which is not sure why it generated client in and out. That's fine. What the fuck is this? Oh, I appreciate that, Stanley. Thank you so much. Kind words. Deeply appreciate that. Okay, we're just gonna run the client, and I think it will invoke the C# right now, but I think there might be some other issue about it still leaving junk in the messages when encrypting 0 bytes and leaving 0 bytes. But we'll see. So it's going to do receive data. Oh, please work. It would be so nice if you just work. So it's receiving data. It's decrypting it. That's fine. Next step. Next step. Payload is no longer. Oh, payload is 65. It's working. It's working. Daddy Rasta. Oh my God, it's working. Woo! Hey, 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 hey. Can I pop calc? Shell. Please work. Please just please pop me calc. Yay! Oh, actually legitimate joy. Woo! It works. The last 30 minutes was literally just fucking around with AES because AES it did some weird Ivy crap. Actually worked. We are communicating over the Graph API using 2 files in OneDrive. Threat actors, if you're listening, my Patreon can be. I'm kidding. That's kind of sick. Oh, I got a follow as well. Thank you so much, Capelon. Does it have to though? Does it have to? Let's see, can we do P current directory? Tasked, running. Okay, so it's not necessarily retrieving the output from the beacon, but that's on you, dude. Kidding. It is running it though. It's probably because we're debugging it somehow, right? LS, can we do it's probably we have to do something that I can see. Let's do PSXX service name. Fuck that. No. Okay. Let's actually run it outside of the thingy. Like that. Stop it. And then so now it's going to still communicate because the demo controller is keeping it active. Now it should die, but it's okay. Yeah, yours last stream, something crashed. So it might not be a me issue, but doesn't really matter. It works. So demo controller, demo client. Okay, so I'm pushing it a bit now. Probably need to delete the files and stuff. Let's do external. Let's nuke the external. Let's do target 137. Let's delete these files. Demo controller. That's gonna push up the payload. Not sure why it writes client in, because it shouldn't write client in. It shouldn't. It's trying to null out. I'm not sure why it's writing client in. Might be because of this. But that's in receive, not in send. So it's doing send initially. Okay, let me actually debug that because it shouldn't be doing that. Might be the issue. So it's sending, that's fine. And then I'm checking. Okay, yeah, this is the issue. Buffered file name is send file, and then if this is null, then buffer is this. So it's writing, that's fine. But that is quite a bit of data. So that's the payload. But then it runs the second time, wanting to write byte 0. it shouldn't be like that. It should be, if the length is 0 and this is like that, do nothing. And the string is not null or empty. Oh, it's because it's reading it, and then it should only do that if there's actually a 200 OK and the file name exists. So if get drive is that a successful 200 OK, like this doesn't matter, but if it's 0, there's no reason for it to encrypt it. Like if it's 0, just write 0. You know what I mean? That's to stop that. I mean, it doesn't matter because when it decrypts it, it's going to be 0 anyhow. So I guess it's okay. But that's probably the best fix. Just gonna go back in time here. That's fine, but this is probably the best fix. There's no reason to send that initial clear. So if get drive HTTP is successful status code, then there's a point of sending that clear. If not, then there's no point of sending that clear. Let's delete it. Test. Actually kind of stoked this worked. Delete it. It's up. It's recompiled. Let's run demo controller 1022. Should create one file and one file only. Client out. Then demo client should create client in. And then we got a new agent. Cool. It needs work. Okay, so now I have 2. So this is old. This is the new one. Let's see if I can actually get output from this one. Let's do ls and then the C# lib. This did crash something earlier, but tasked. Completed. It works. It fucking works. No way. It works. LOL. Happy man. 10:30. Wowza. Cool. Nice. Nice. Process command. Crash. Didn't like process. Did not like process, but that seemed to be a client issue with the implant thingy. What happens if I rerun a client? It's not gonna handle that. Yeah, it's gonna crash, but it's fine. It works. It works. We got output. I only need it once. It works. Oh. Ooh. Major success. Major success. I need to take like a... Oh, no, sorry. I'm fucking around. I need to take like a screenshot so I can share on Twitter. Give me a second, boys. Let's restart that team server. Flyweight. And then Rasta Rocks. And then, of course, we got to put it in night mode. How do I remove these implants? My man, how do I remove? There we go, remove, and then handlers, delete that handler, and then graph API, 37. And then, yeah, let's just run it, and then let's just nuke the files. You watch it not work again? There we go. It's so cool. It fucking works. Cool. Let's do... What did work? LS worked, right? Let's do... You have a who am I, don't you? Let's try who am I. YOLO? YOLO? Why you don't work now? Okay, it did work at some point. I promise you it did. Don't know why task. It totally worked. You guys saw it, right? It listed processes and everything. Okay, fuck that screenshot. It worked. You guys saw it. It was 1000% reliable. Totally not like totally no race events at all. 100% reliable. Can confirm. Fuck that screenshot. Not that important. It was fun though. It worked. Super stoked. Only took 2 hours and 40 minutes, and the last 40 minutes was fucking encryption time. Works 100% of the time, 2% of the time. That's from Anchorman, right? Yeah. Oh, that was great. Well, I gotta get my sponsors in. So I want to take a huge shout out to me for paying everything myself. No, okay, so well, that's true. But if you guys, any new viewers that's still around 2 hours and 40 minutes into the stream, if you're considering doing, or if you're looking at some sort of practical security courses or offensive security training, take a look at some of the stuff that 0 Point Security recommends. Our very own Rastamouse, which is a mod in the chat. If you check the description, there's an affiliate link that you can use that gives me some kickback if you sign up for courses. Again, I say it every stream, but been a huge advertiser for those courses way before the affiliate link program. It's honestly the best stuff out there, and I really hope that it could gain even more traction with the you know, in terms of having it on your resume, and it could gain actual legitimate wow, English hard right now. It's good. Go check it out, honestly. I'm still trying to grow my YouTube channel. If you aren't subscribed to me on YouTube, consider going over and subscribing, liking, commenting. I'm still like 400 viewing hours short of being able to apply for for YouTube's affiliate program, which would be awesome as well. So consider doing that if you aren't subscribed to my YouTube channel, and then join the Discord if you want to as well. My question would be how you pick that stuff up. Did you learn it on the job as you went on, or in private? So in terms of like developing offensively, or like security testing in general, or so. I used to work specifically as an integrations consultant, developing in C# with Azure. So I literally the only thing I did was create backend APIs, REST APIs, and integrate with other REST APIs. So this is like right up my alley, just communicating and integrating with the Graph API based on documentation. Developing offensively was something I did to try to land a job within offensive security. I worked as a developer in a small town in Norway, and to be able to work with anything remotely related to security testing, I would have to have moved to the capital, which I didn't want to do. So I was extremely lucky and gained some traction and was able to land a job with TrustedSec, where I'm at now. So what's next? Well, next week I have been playing with the idea of showing you guys some sort of open sourcing, even though it's kind of open source, Sharp collection, but adding obfuscation to it. So sort of, because a lot of people has been sending me messages on Twitter being like, hey, I'm trying to deploy this pipeline internally at our company with obfuscation built in. How can I do that? And just a couple of weeks ago, somebody released a decent open source obfuscator that does basic stuff and works like at least half of the time, maybe closer to 80% of the time. So I was thinking I was going to show you guys how you can make a Sharp collection, but obfuscated. So obfuscated Sharp collection. I'm not going to create a repo for it, but you guys could take the source code and deploy it internally within your organizations if you want to like do basic aviation, whatever. Could be cool. Other than that, I'm extremely open for suggestions. I'm going to link my Discord again if you haven't joined it. We just all talk together there. So if you want to give me any suggestions of what you would like to see, please hit me up. Not everything is within my ballpark, but some of it is. And then yeah, if anybody's going to CEFCon later this month, hit me up. If anybody going to Troopers, I would love to meet up as well. But I think that's it. I think I'm going to sign off. I deeply appreciate all 30 of you staying with me for almost 3 hours. With that said, we did actually get shit done, and super happy. I feel like I made up for last stream. Thank you so much, Rasta. I appreciate it. And with that, I think that's it. Everybody have a great Sunday. Have a great Monday when work comes around. Deeply appreciate you guys tuning in, and I'll see you all next Sunday. Thank you so much, guys. Deeply appreciate it. And yeah, hopefully I'll see you all next Sunday. Have a good one. Peace.